We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex Jones here with urgent information concerning trendsresearch.com. The Trends Journal distills the voluminous ongoing research of the Trends Research Institute into a concise, readily accessible form. By tracking 300 separately defined domestic and international trends, the Trends Journal establishes the connections that others fail to see or misinterpret. Gerald Salente's Trends Journal allows you to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take protective strategies. Individual readers from every walk of life can put the Trends Journal, Trends Forecast, and Trends Analysis to practical use. Extra information to keep you well informed throughout the year when any current event of major social, economic, or political significance occurs. Trends Journal notifies its subscribers of their implications. When you subscribe to the Trends Journal, you'll also receive Trends Alerts. Visit trendsresearch.com today. That's trendsresearch.com. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. This information is too important to wait. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5-Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 or visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
We now take you live
to the Central Texas Command Center
in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Coming up in an hour, former head of policy at the Department of Treasury, former Wall Street Journal editor, best-selling author, columnist at Infowars.com with a syndicated column. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts will be joining us. He wrote The Ecstasy of Empire, dealing with how private corporate interests are completely destroying this nation by design, and that if there is not a revolution in this country in the near future, his quote is, here at the end of the story, without a revolution, Americans are history. We'll get exactly what he means by that coming up later in the next hour. We're about to go to David MacMichael here in just a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you about a few of the great sponsors that made today's radio broadcast possible. First off, efoodsdirect.com. This is high-quality, non-GMO, non-hybrid food insurance you can eat. It lasts 10-plus years. It's made fresh every week. This is an old storable food like a lot of companies are selling. I bought a lot of storable food, and this is the company I found that's the best. They have only the best ingredients. They're just wonderful folks. You'll never stand in a bread line if you have your own bread with all the war talk and the depression and all the things that are going on. It's good to be self-sufficient. Believe me, the government and major corporations have their own depots of food and weapons. You need it as well. efoodsdirect.com, the letter E, foodsdirect.com, or banners up on Infowars.com, or give them a call at 800-409-5633, 800-409-5633. And while I'm speaking of preparedness, acolablue.com. It looks like a water cooler without the water bottle on the top, and it grabs condensation out of the air, upwards of 7+ gallons a day with their smallest unit, and sends it through 7 to 12 filters, depending on which unit you get. The cleanest, best water you can find out there. It's so good. Hadn't been through the whole water table and all the toxins and waste that's out there and a lot of the tap water or even bottled water. Acolablue.com, ECOLOBLUE.com, or give them a call at 800-691-6043, 800-691-6043, acolablue.com. They've got a lot of specials running this month, so be sure and check out their website, acolablue.com. Now we go to David MacMichael. He'll be with us about 15 minutes into the next hour. He's a former Central Intelligence Agency analyst, 10-year veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. He was a counterinsurgency expert in Southeast Asia for his 4-year tour there. He also served as an analyst for the National Intelligence Council. MacMichael graduated M.A. with a Ph.D. in history from the University of Oregon. And it just goes on and on with all of his whistleblowing. He resigned from the CIA in July of '83 because he felt the agency was misrepresenting intelligence for political reasons. But we see a lot of that today, don't we, where these contractors that have a stake in exaggerating things to get funds are caught lying constantly, or the lies about WMDs in Iraq. His public resignation from the agency gave credence and notability to the vocal indictment of the Reagan administration's policy towards Central America. He was considered the key witness in the Nicaragua versus the United States. The case was heard in '86 for the International Court of Justice. And it just goes on from there. He's a member of Veterans of Intelligence Professionals for Sanity, founded by Ray McGovern, and the Association of National Security Alumni, and the Association of Responsible Dissent, an outspoken critic of the Iraq War and the Bush administration. He has participated in 6 documentary films. And journalist John Pilger has described him as a CIA renegade. And Ray McGovern said that he's one of the most important experts we can talk to about fake intelligence leading us not just into Iraq, but now Iran. And we have him on because in the last 2 days, Bolton, the former ambassador to the UN, and Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic, who put out key disinfo about WMDs in 2002, they're back all over national television promoting that Iran must be bombed or needs to be attacked, as Bolton's saying, by next week, middle of next week. Here's the headline: Israel has 8 days to hit Iran site, Bolton says, before they fuel the reactor, because then if they hit it, it'll cause a Chernobyl-type meltdown and rain down radiation in the region. It'll obviously be seen as a serious crime against humanity. So joining us is David MacMichael. David, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. That rather lengthy CV you gave me only proves I've never been able to hold a regular job.
Ray McGovern, we were getting him on. He's a regular contributor to the show, but he was going to be traveling today, so he couldn't come on. He recommended you and said that you're even more senior in your knowledge, so that's quite a compliment coming from Ray, who we've seen stunning accuracy in his trends forecasting. Let's get into, you want to start at the beginning with Iraq or even before with disinformation you exposed in the 80s, or where we're going with Iran?
Yeah, well, look, you can just take as a general statement that disinformation is a principal activity in a wartime situation. And now that we're involved in a war on terror, as we were previously involved in the Cold War, part and parcel of the government direction of that is disinformation. And this is designed, on the one hand, to ensure public support for the policy decided upon by those in control of conduct of foreign policy. And the second aspect, of course, is to delude and punish the designated enemy. So disinformation is, let me put it this way, in going back to the CIA background and the conduct of covert operations, a rule of thumb is 75% of covert operations is disinformation. So that tells you what trust you can have in the statements that are produced by government officials.
And I've now seen public statements by the Pentagon in the last few years that now 90% of what they do is psychological warfare. So they're converting even more into brainwashing, propaganda, disinfo, or info war, as they call it.
Yes, that's very much part of it, and there are many aspects to that. Going back to the Manchurian Candidate days, but yeah, that is a huge part of what this vastly expanded Pentagon. Plus, of course, this huge apparatus that was exposed in those remarkable articles of now 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago in the Washington Post on this huge expansion of this national security apparat.
Top secret USA 800.
That's precisely it. That's must reading for your listeners.
854,000 highest level private spies. I mean, isn't this really the end of America? A private corporate contractor offshore takeover of frontline combat troops, intelligence, supply, logistics. I mean, everything. And you look at these companies; these are international. It isn't the communist Chinese or the Arabs or the Russians overthrowing the United States. It's the private intelligence takeover and the $2 trillion a year of the Defense Department and the contractors are gobbling up.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, you don't have to speak of the end of America. You might reasonably speak the end of America, the America that perhaps you and I grew up in. But it certainly speaks to the points made so accurately by Howard Zinn, the recently deceased Howard Zinn, I hate to say, in his numerous books on, the people's history and so forth. Is look, what you're dealing with, and I'm glad you raised the point, Alec, on the use, the privatization here, the use of corporations in this. The law requires, if I say this right now, the law, as it's put forward in the courts of the United States and elsewhere as well, controlling corporate behavior, is that the fiduciary responsibility of the corporate leadership is to its shareholders, and it is obliged, again, by law, to take all actions which will benefit its shareholders. And if this means in seeking contracts in the national security area to manufacture or enhance the alleged threat, which would justify their getting a contract, that's what they're going to do. And the more influential these people become, and God knows they've been influential for a very long time, this is the way it's going to go. I don't consider that the end of America. I'm just considering it the worsening of America.
Well, I mean, look, the CIA is barred under federal law from domestic operations, but it's come out they're even running local fusion centers, so they don't care. And now they've got private contractors and the CIA and the Army picking targets and running drone attacks. And so that really is a covert takeover of the government when you have these private interests in many areas now dwarfing people that are in government service. And I had Hamid Gul, the former head of Pakistani intelligence, on yesterday, and he was saying that, look, he said, I'm not involved in the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. This is ridiculous. They're attacking people in Pakistan to stir up the tribal areas, to destabilize our country, so they have a pretext to widen the war here. And he said these private contractors have an incentive to lie about this, to expand the war. And he was saying they were there 2 years ago. The Pentagon lied. Now they admit they are there. But I don't know if he's telling the complete truth. But I do.
I look,